Beyond words, the importance of taking action for a better world. Once upon a time, in a world not so different from our own, there lived a group of people who had a vision for a better world. They believed that if everyone worked together, they could make the world a better place for all. They called themselves change makers, and they set out to spread their message to as many people as possible. At first, the change makers struggled to get their message heard. People were skeptical and resistant to change. But the change makers didn't give up. They knew that change was possible, and they were determined to make it happen. They started by reaching out to their own communities. They organized rallies, held meetings, and spoke to anyone who would listen. They shared stories of hope and progress, and they showed people how even small changes can make a big difference. As more and more people heard their message, the changemakers began to gain momentum. People from all walks of life joined their cause, and together, they began to make real progress. They cleaned up their communities, planted gardens, and worked to make their neighborhoods safer and more welcoming. As their movement grew, the changemakers realized that they could have an even bigger impact if they worked together on a larger scale. They started to connect with other changemakers around the world, sharing ideas and collaborating on projects. They worked to address issues like poverty, climate change, and inequality. They raised money for charities and organizations that were making a difference. They lobbied their governments to take action on issues that were important to them, and they held those in power accountable for their actions. Over time, their efforts paid off. The world began to change in ways they never thought possible. People were living healthier, happier lives. Communities were thriving, and the environment was being protected. The world was becoming a better place, and it was all thanks to the efforts of the changemakers. As the years passed, the changemakers continued to work tirelessly to make the world a better place. They never lost sight of their vision, and they never stopped believing that change was possible. And one day, they looked around and realized that they had succeeded. The world was a better place, and it was all because of them. They had shown that even small actions can have a big impact, and that if we all work together, we can change the world for the better. So, my friend, the moral of the story is this: we all have the power to make a difference. It doesn't matter who we are or where we come from. If we believe in something and work hard to make it happen, we can change the world. So let's all be change makers, and let's work together to create a better world for all.